Welcome to the Johnny Dell Football Academy podcast on the channel that's trying to answer the whys and hows of the game by talking through and dissecting game film and diving deeper to explain why the X's zig and the O's zag. I am Adam Marino, joined by Mr. Johnny Dell, and we are reminding you, as always, the most fun way to watch is on YouTube, where we go live. There you can comment into the live show. Be sure to hit the notification bell and turn on your notifications so you can be a part of the conversation. We also stream live on Facebook and X. Also, the audio versions are always found on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. Now, if you are live with us in the chat, it's probably because you are subscribed, you've hit the notification bell, and turned those notifications on. So, when sharing with your friends, be sure to let them know. We also love to hear from you outside of our live show. Email us at johnnydellsfootballacademy@gmail.com, and you can always check out the website jfa49.com, as it is the most fun way to support the channel. Also, the way we boost the chat and boost the algorithm is to type out hashtag JD49.
What is up, Niner faithful? So good to see you here. We do not have Adam with us this morning. He is got some personal business to attend to. I will let him fill everybody in on that when he gets back on Friday. But good morning, and it is the first show of the year after a game. My goodness, that is good to see. Good to see you, Dre. That we have been waiting for months. We have been waiting for months for this to come about. Good morning to my wonderful, beautiful wife there. She's in the chat. Good to see you there, honey. That the 49ers actually have some new football, some new real football, and I have a new hat. My wifey, who's in the chat, got me this hat for the new season. So there it is in all of its glory. And hopefully by Friday, I'm going to have a Fanatics discount code for you, set up for you if you want to get some gear. Hopefully that will be coming Friday. You can get a discount code through us at the JD Football Academy. But coming out of the game, man, I guess the biggest news coming out of it was just a lot more banged up players. 49ers have 19 players injured right now. It seems like year after year, every time, or especially around this time, we are constantly talking about, can the 49ers stay healthy? And that seems to still be the question. Amir Abdullah getting a rib injury, and so they went out and brought back Jefe, Jeff Wilson, to come back into the fold and be a veteran running back. Look, they've needed a veteran running back for a while. They had been looking for somebody that can come in that's not going to be learning the system, learning the pass protection, that they will have all of that down. Amir Abdullah was somebody that they brought in to do that. Now he has got the rib injury. Don't know how long he's going to be out. Jeff Wilson's got a chance to come back with the 49ers and get a spot on this team, make himself some money, and hopefully contribute to the 49ers this year. But the injuries continue to pile up. Marcus Siegel had the bruised knee is what we're looking at. Don't know the status on Upton Stout yet. He had some tightness in his calf, so he didn't play. Micah Williams has the hyperextended knee. He should be coming back hopefully this week before the game against the Raiders. Really want to see him out on the field. But just a long slew of guys that are the walking wounded right now, especially in the running back room, the receiver room. Those rooms getting really, really thin, and the cornerback room has not been the most popular or populated room out there. So a number of things coming out of the game that was there. Watching the game, I think many of us were pleased with how the 49ers started, and they they went down, they scored a touchdown. Can never be too upset about that. Jordan Watkins getting getting the big play on the smack gator, or sometimes called Haas. It's hitches outside and seam, so it's a play we run a lot. I remember Brandon Ayuk had, I think it was a 74-yard touchdown, somewhere around there against sorry, I had a little dog hair on my hat here from my Alaska Malamute. But he had a 74-yard touchdown, I believe it was against the Buccaneers in 2023, down the left sideline from Brock Purdy. Great, beautiful pass, and that was on the same concept. So same side of the field. Good to see Jordan Watkins do that. Did struggle with some of the routes and understanding what exactly is supposed to happen on those. I think one, he ran a deep out and it was supposed to be more of a comeback route. And so that's on Jordan Watkins for that. And Mac Jones throws the interception. So, like the way that they move the ball. I watched Ben Barch through those first few series. I was seeing, okay, how does he look coming back from injury? You guys know I was really high on him, but it was limited exposure last year. It was in the snow for the most part. How did Ben Barch look, especially against mostly starters on the Denver defensive line? And I will say, I was really happy with Ben Barch. I was very happy. He showed everything that we saw last year that made me excited for him going forward as the starting left guard. He was good in his footwork. He was getting to the second level. He was getting some movement when it was coming on there. And so I think that was seeing what I saw from Ben Barch, very pleased, and feel like that left guard spot is actually going to be an improvement as long as Barch can stay healthy. That has been something throughout his career that he has struggled with. He's missed a number of games over his career, not just with the 49ers, but just overall due to some health. But I do believe that if he can stay in there, stay healthy, that this will be not a small upgrade over what Aaron Banks gave us last year. So really, really liked what I saw there. I haven't gotten to the point in the film to see both Drew Moss and Connor Colby. I saw that they were highly graded by PFF. I always prefer to do my own evaluation to see exactly what, within the scheme and what I can see there. So I think the only good news on the injury side is that the 49ers don't have any major injuries. That's something that can be managed. It does set you back, but it doesn't hamstring you for the entire year. Those things can be worked through and can be overcome, as we saw the terrible news on one of my, I would say the least disliked player on the Eagles, but somebody I was really high on, wish the 49ers would have drafted him coming out of Alabama, but Landon Dickerson of the Eagles, he was carted off the field yesterday. I haven't seen any updates on his as of this morning, but that's not good news for Eagles fans. But as much as we don't like the Eagles, it's really terrible news for Landon Dickerson himself. I feel terrible for the kid, for the guy. I mean, he's a big part of what they do. He's got a big time contract, but it just reminds you that things can be much worse than the 49ers are getting. They haven't had, knock on wood, the season ending injuries to significant players, whereas the Chargers last week lost Rashawn Slater right after he got the massive contract he got. Went down with a torn patellar tendon. The same injury that Weston Richburg had, the same injury that Russell Gage had that has set him back almost 2 years in his career. Now, it's the same injury that Josh Simmons had coming out of Ohio State. And I was high on him coming out. The reports were that he was ahead of schedule. I was hoping the 49ers, if they were going to draft a tackle, Josh Simmons, but with that patellar, it's about 75% likelihood they will come back, but there's that 25%. It is a higher risk than a lot of other injuries as far as players being able to return to their pre-performance point play and level of play. So it's something that, just remind you that yes, the 49ers have gotten a lot of minor injuries. No injury is truly minor, but they haven't had that catastrophic injury. Again, knock on wood. So hopefully they can continue out through the rest of this, because that's the most important thing I want to see from this. You see some guys get banged up, but they've got to stay healthy in that. Some players that flashed a lot. Chase Lucas kind of came out of nowhere. That Upton Stout has the tightness in his calf, and all of a sudden we see Chase Lucas out there running everything down, getting in on every play, playing with the physicality they expect from the secondary. That is huge in this offense or in this defense, that those secondary players, that your slot especially, but also your corners, they have to be involved in the run game. This is a 49ers team that says we're not just going to let our guys be coverage guys out there, that these guys have to get involved in the defense. They have to be physical in the defense. Richard Sherman brought that kind of mentality to the 49ers when they went out and brought him in as a free agent and said, we are going to bring him in, and he is going to show everybody the standard of physicality from an outside corner. And I remember how many times he'd be on the end and there'd be a run coming his way and he'd stick his nose in there and make a physical tackle. That's what they expect from their corners. Mooney Ward even talked about that as one thing that he wasn't really high on. He wasn't too big on with his time with the 49ers. He's like, they ask their guys, they want their guys to really stick their nose in there and get really physical. And, that's not as much my game. I'm a coverage guy. That's how he felt about it. And it was very clear from film. I mean, he was not get in there and get involved in the run game kind of guy. Diamador Lenore is, and that's why he got the big contract. So, we're seeing that. When I saw Daryl Lutter in this game, didn't see the kind of physicality that I want to see from the outside in some of those runs and outside runs. Want to see more physicality there, but was really impressed with Chase Lucas. And, he's somebody who really let his stock rise in this game. And so that's exciting to see. There's a lot of, good flashes from a lot of different places, but the 49ers still, got their pants beat off. It was 30-9. Like, that's not a great score. Now, they did have the good things that, again, Chase Lucas getting the safety there on that slot blitz, doing exactly what they teach him to do, squeeze down the lane and then attack the quarterback and immediately get to a contain, the arm up. All that stuff is textbook how they teach it for those rollout plays. And so it forces the safety, but you turn the ball over 4 times. That's what you can expect from your final score is 30-9. So, is what it is. Lots to clean up. Nick Martin, I think, showed flashes of his speed. That's the thing you can't teach. I think he's still at least a year, maybe even 2 years away from a significantly starting spot. Now, again, that's just based on this first game. I haven't seen all the tape yet, but I think the recognition and some of the technique is gonna be a little while with Nick Martin. Remember, he is a little bit behind it because of the rough injury he had last year. So I think they were willing to spend a 3rd rounder on him, knowing that it wasn't going to be this year. But he's got the projection, the physical projection of talent to be an absolute stud at linebacker. So I think that's why they went about this. When you kind of look at a lot of things, there's a lot of projection into year 2 that these players can be really, really phenomenal. It's not saying they're throwing away this year, but I do start to get the sense that this year is about laying the groundwork for a significant push in 2026. 2025 is going to be, hey, you're there to compete. You're going to take advantage if the opportunity presents itself. You grow as the year goes. But really, they're looking at a lot of players that can be very, very high level come 2026 with his rookie class. CJ West showed a lot of what we were hoping for and what his film showed, which is he's a bull in a china closet. He's a bowling ball. He can be a wrecking crew wherever he goes. I still got to see more of Alfred Collins, but overall, I was pretty pleased with the way most of the players were. Some of the things you're seeing is like, well, Some of it is young players experiencing growing pains, which we need in this preseason. That's why you go with preseason. Huge shout out, Mr. Zach coming in. He's hyped for the season, coming in with the massive super chat. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Zach. Appreciate you so much. He says, one of my biggest takeaways was this: love having Saleh back, man. And I will say, I will echo that 100%. It felt like just watching some of the things with this 49ers defense, you went, this feels like a solid defense. It feels like you know what this defense is going to be. You know that this defense is going to be good at certain things, that they're going to present things. They're going to make it harder for the quarterback. They're going to go hit with violence. They're going to rally. They're going to swarm. That they're going to be on their P's and Q's and know where they're supposed to be. And it's just like it's like what Robert Saleh, or what Nick Bosa said about Robert Saleh. He's a commanding presence in the meeting rooms, that when he speaks, players know they have absolute confidence in his calls. They have absolute confidence in the system. And there is an understanding, like when you have Fred Warner and Nick Bosa who played in this system, that's a big, important part of here, where they have played in this system. And when they are fully bought in, and they can echo, guys, this will work. If you do this, if you're on this, this is going to work. That just brings the whole defense. You can feel the confidence behind their calls more than it was in the past. It felt like, especially during the preseason last year, it felt like whenever they showed Nick Sorensen and a lot of the defensive coaches around there, when you see him, the body language wasn't great. It very much looked like they were trying to figure things out. There was the body language of the players. It just seemed like there wasn't a lot of confidence in the calls. There wasn't a lot of confidence in that this was situationally the right call. This just felt like an extremely steady hand at the wheel running this defense. And my goodness, how refreshing. We have not had this since DeMeco Ryans, where it just felt like and this even feels beyond where DeMeco was even in 2022. The DeMeco, there was a lot of energy, and it was like the young guy who's really smart, come up with a lot of different things. Robert Saleh in there just feels like the savvy, grizzled veteran who's come in there, and this is just another day at the office for him. There's nothing that's going to get him surprised. This is a very steady hand at the wheel. Love having Saleh there. Love the look of this defense. Now, there are going to be some growing pains. There are going to be some young guys that have issues. I mentioned it, and somebody had mentioned it in the chat earlier. I put this on X shortly before we came on. I'm not seeing some of the growth with Daryl Lutter that I'm hoping for. I really, I've been pulling for the kid. I really do like Daryl Lutter as a player, but I'm not 100% sold on him being one of the top 6 players on our defense right now. I just don't know that I'm really comfortable with that. And it's from the physicality in the run game. It's from the some of the coverage snafus, and I'm going to show this stuff when I do my full breakdown here later in the week, as I can get through time and get through the entire game film. Because I haven't looked at quarters 3 and 4 where Daryl Lutter had some bigger moments and had some times where he flashed. But I want to see what happened on the busted coverage for one of their touchdowns. I haven't been able to look at that yet. So I want to see, was that on him or was that on somebody else? But I'm pulling the clip right now. Again, I was watching it literally right up until like 9:29 at my time, 7:29 your time. I was trying to just get in as much game film as possible to prep for this show, because I want to be as informed as I can for you guys. And so I did see one play that I'll just use here as an example of some of the growing pains you're faced with when you have a lot of these rookies. Marcus Siegel looked really, really good for the most part, as far as coming up, making physical tackles. And that was something that, again, we had watched on this show. that there was that we had. I'd shown some of the clips of Siegel of being able to go from that deep bail when he was in college and come up and make physical tackles. That's something that he showed in college. The question has been some of the coverage things, taking good angles and stuff like that. So the angles was much better as far as from some of the stuff that I saw in college. Now that was always still hit or miss, but it seems like his angles were even better, and they're kind of narrowing it down for him. He's not playing as much space as he was in college, but he's got to learn some of the nuances of these coverages as they get here. So this is going to be a play. I'm going to make sure that this is synced and we'll actually play through. Yeah. So we force an incompletion here, mainly because of some really good pressure here by Chase Lucas off the edge, and Bo Nix just doesn't get quite a good enough throw here. But we're coming with a slot blitz. So you're going to bring a 5-man pressure, and then you're going to run a zone behind it. We are in a fire zone, so you're going to have 3 deep here. We're going to bail on these, and you're going to have 3 underneath. So Marcus Siegel is right here, and he's in this underneath. So how the 49ers usually run this is they're going to run a couple verticals here with the Broncos, and then the running back on a swing here. And the 49ers are really big on protecting the seams. And a lot of times what we've done with Saleh, and here was the difference with Wilkes, is that a lot of times our safeties, then that's Marcus Siegel, would have to carry this seam, and the linebacker, this is Tatum Bethune, would go and pick up the running back. And a lot of times that was Dre Greenlaw. You'd see him making tackles out there in the flat. That's one reason we love speed from our linebackers. We want our linebackers to do that, but we also don't want our linebackers retreating. We want them attacking. So when you have that, your linebackers can attack the running back and then go get him in the flat. That's why we do that. And that's why Saleh has done that. Now, there's also caveats here that this is a fire zone. So again, you're going to have, let me do the Broncos in blue. They don't deserve to have the red. They're blue. Is that when you're in a fire zone and you have this slot and your mic is way over here, he's not going to go and pick up the running back. That makes it a little bit harder for him, because also you don't want him attacking the run. You want to keep him in the middle of the field. That's what you want. You don't want to expose your middle. You only have one middle help. So you're already bringing somebody off the edge. This is the thought behind it. So now you're going to have your safety carry the seam. And so, not carry the seam, excuse me. You're going to have them grab it, and your mic will then carry the seam. So that is what the idea is here, is that the mic's going to retreat. Now your safety comes, and he's going to pick up the running back out of the flat, not pick up the seam. So this is a flip of what they normally do. And you see that's where Marcus Siegel has this sort of brain moment, and it's a learning moment, just like all of us would have, where you're so used to when you see this number 2 come vertical that you match that, and this linebacker goes and gets it. Now it's going to be different. You're going to see the linebacker drop because you're bringing the slot blitz, and Siegel's got to go pick up the running back. In that, what ends up happening is as he sees the number 2 coming on the vertical, he's going to try and carry it. You get the corner carry it. Bethune is doing what he's supposed to do, and he's going to carry it, and nobody picks the running back up who's the hot out in the flat. So if this pass is connected on, let me clear this out here, you got a running back with a ton of real estate out here and backs turned. And you're doubling the number 2, which you don't want. Again, Siegel's supposed to be coming down here on the running back. And so you have a bust in coverage there. And it's thankfully incomplete, but you can watch this. You're going to see these guys start telling him that, man, that's on you. I think D Winters turns and tells him, this is your man. Like, he's pointing, and you see coming over here, sorting this out. That's your man. So those are some of the coverage issues that you will run into every once in a while when you play these young guys. They're going to have those sort of brain moments as they are learning the system and all the different rules and going through the reps of it. And that's one of the reasons you bring these blitzes in the preseason. People will say, well, you're tipping your hand on all these blitzes you're going to have in your bag. Well, your guys also is, especially if Marcus Siegel has to play significant snaps come early in the season, you got to prep him on this stuff, because this is different than how he normally, a normal rep of a cover 3. This is now a fire zone 3 where his rules are different. And so he's got to learn that. So they ran that slot blitz over and over and over again. Again, some of that wasn't just about seeing what Chase Lucas could do or trying to stop the Broncos defense. They're giving Marcus Siegel and these safeties the reps on these over and over again of working out the numberings, because it's not something that they've got a lot under their belt. They've probably run that cover 3, normal, 7 drop cover 3, 100 reps already. They need to get more reps on it, because now these guys may have to be there week 1, because Malik Mustafa, don't know if he's going to be ready week 1. Jair Brown, don't know if he's going to be ready week 1. Jason Pinnock is new to this system now. He played in it, before with the Jets, but I don't believe he was playing. He wasn't playing a safety then. And so these are our opportunities that Saleh is putting out there. And that is also what feels so good about having Robert Saleh here, is he understands my players need to work on this. This is what they haven't gotten a lot of opportunities from. He's not just out there reacting. He's proactive in that I have a plan that I don't care what the outcome is necessarily on each play. I'm setting my players up in every play for success, for learning right now. This isn't about result. It's about the process during preseason. And that's what feels so great. Last year during preseason, it felt like they were just like Nick Sorensen was trying to practice being a play caller. You have somebody who doesn't have to practice being a play caller. You have somebody who understands that side of it. And so he's coming into the game with a plan of, I need to make sure I get this rep in these different situations when I think they're going to do this, so that my players can see this look. We get it on film. We can learn from it. They can learn from it, and we can coach them up. So this just feels like such a steady hand on the wheel in that sense. But there's going to be growing pains, and there's going to be moments where these players got to learn. So that's one of those things that I'm very excited about going forward, and just watching this team grow through the preseason. This was very much a raw team. This looked like a young team out there, but there's going to be some positives. There's going to be some, opportunities for improvement. We'll put it that way, with these players. So really excited about everything, and just good to see 49ers football again. I know that seems like I'm just kind of treading over the same ground, but I'm just excited that we actually had real football. So when I talk about Daryl Lutter and some of the stuff that's going on, this is, again, working through some of the scheme stuff, some of the stuff that I'm seeing that I go, I just want you to be farther along. You're in your 3rd year now, so we should be getting a look at who you are as a player. So this is a 3rd down. We come out, show this heavy pressure package. We're mugging both of the A gaps with the linebackers. Classic Saleh look. Okay, Saleh does this all the time, has done this for years. And then he'll come out of this in so many different coverages. And he's showing this man look here, zero look, like they're going to have it with the slot here coming at the running back. You're pressed in man. You have a man look out here. Okay, well, we're going to back out of this into a cover 3 zone. So we're just going to drop 7 guys into coverage, and and make the quarterback react to this post snap. So we're going to drop all 7 guys. And Lutter here, now a lot of times we on the 2 receiver side, so you have 3 receivers at the top, 2 to the bottom. A lot of times we do have this corner match on like slants. We're going to have a match on a slant. So if this play comes up and there's a slant, this corner's got to match that. We're going to match that to the hash. That's usually where they have the break off point, is the hash. Anything in breaking until the hash. And after the hash, you're going to bail and then go find a landmark between, I think he calls it zebra. I could be wrong on that, on the exact nomenclature, but it's between the hash and the numbers is where they want them to go bail out here and pick up any trash. So that'd be somebody leaking out from the backfield on the other side from the number 2. That's going to be a high crosser. They want you to go pick up some trash. And one reason you do that especially is if they run this shallow cross and they run a shallow cross, you're going to get all this traffic in here. And this is an old rub play. So you don't want to get caught up in that wash. You're going to hand that off and go bail out. And what the Broncos are doing is they're running exactly that. They're running a little shallow cross, and then a high cross. So what Lutter's got to do is recognize this route is coming, see the route coming from the opposite side, bail out down here through between the hash and the numbers, and be ready to pick this up. Don't let this come across the field. Now, in our cover 3 as well, D Winters, as he bails out here, he's got to turn and pick up that number 3 crossing the field. So you will end up doubling this route is what you really want. That's usually the route that teams want to hit as far as an offense. What there is with Daryl Lutter is just a little bit of hesitation in his recognition to bail out, and then he doesn't have the urgency to go pick it up. He's a little slow to recognize the high crosser, and then there's not the urgency, and he's going to get caught up in the wash here with D Winters. So as he goes, you're going to see him. Okay, now this is happening. You never want two guys bungling up against each other that have got to turn and run with this high crosser. Bo Nix lays this out here by the numbers. He's probably got a big completion, and it's still going to be a tight throw. D Winters does recover pretty well here, but I don't want to see Daryl Lutter running down this hash. He needs to be running down this lane, bailed out sooner. You hand this off, you hand that off. Those are great. Okay. But you got to have your corner bailing out there. And so this is some of the stuff from Daryl Lutter. It's just I don't see the urgency in this play of recognizing it and then going and getting to your spot. I don't see a lot of urgency there, especially when that is a route you should be picking up. You should be bailing out when you see that receiver's committed. You should be going outside of D Winters, and you should be getting on your horse to go pick that up. I'm not seeing it. So that's the kind of stuff I'm seeing from Daryl Lutter, as at least through the first couple quarters of this game. This and a couple other things that make me go, I'm pulling for you, but those things have got to be tightened up, and there's got to be an urgency. Do you really want that third or fourth corner spot to be the first guy on the field should Renardo Green or Diamador Lenore go down? I want to see that kind of urgency, that kind of, detailed approach to the defense. And Saleh is going to demand that. I'm not seeing it right now. So that is something that concerns me from the defensive side with Daryl Lutter. So those are the things that I'm looking for and kind of seeing, and just a preview of what is to come in the breakdown video as I get through the rest of the film. Really want to see all of Alfred Collins and CJ West and what they were able to do assignment wise, and then see kind of some of the offensive line issues there in second through fourth quarters, because I do believe that the offensive line just didn't look great. And I'm going to look at, is it some of it on the running backs? Is it some of it on the offensive line? Is it on some receivers? We're going to take a look at it all and see what is going on with our number 3 and 4 quarterbacks. As we know from the 2022 season, your third string quarterback could play significant snaps for you in the NFL. So want to see what is going on with those young guys coming in at quarterback that did not look so hot, and we'll see where things are. But that's all I got for today's show. A lot of things just to really get into, and I've got to dive into deeper and see what's going on. But we have real film, we have real football that is new, and it's stuff to see for this season, not just looking at college tape from these kids from last year or some of the footage from our team last year. We have stuff from this year. A lot of good things to see, but also a lot of moments for opportunity. Same with this show. We have some good things, and we have a lot of times we have moments of opportunity to get better. So appreciate you coming in and hanging out with us. And as always, appreciate everybody in the chat, and look forward to another great season with our 49ers as we watch this team grow and get better and hopefully win lots and lots of games. But until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and go Niners.